We're going to talk about 3 trends that are kind of more influences on the toy industry right now, and then we're going to get into the 3 trends of the fair. The new nostalgia, collaborations, impact of licensing, which is huge this year, and then we'll get into the new trends. The new nostalgia is an area that it's interesting that Gen X really wants to be offline. And part of that is because they've always been digital. They are digital natives. They grew up being digital. They never knew life without being connected. And so now sometimes they feel like, I just want to be with my friends without being on a screen or having a phone in front of me. And these are some of the activities that they're engaged in. There's music festivals, 70s, 80s, and 90s music, which was before they were even born, but they still are relating to that. And going to music festivals, they're still big festivals for music of current time, but it's something that they're relating to. Also, going to karaoke bars or having in-home karaoke parties, and it's all about the connection and being together with people. With the pandemic, so many people were, not around their friends, that now they're really craving that time together with people. Collecting vinyl records, silent disco parties, slow travel, going by train, not by plane, and actually going to a city and not having an itinerary until you get there. You just make it up as you go. Which is a very new kind of way to travel. I know my daughter, she's 35, and she does that quite often now with her friends. Hiking, trekking, just being out in nature and being away from all the digital devices. Classic car culture. There's a lot of people that are into the nostalgia of when they were younger, or when their grandparents or their parents were younger. Analog photography clubs, not digital, but taking the photos and not knowing until it's printed what is actually on there. And for example, this Barbie print cam, it prints out like old Polaroids did in the day when we were growing up. There were Polaroid cameras that would just print it out. This Pac-Man retro console for your home has 13 games that people played when they were kids. They would actually go to an arcade and they would play because they wouldn't have these things. And Lego just came out with their Super Mario Game Boy set, which is really fun, that you build it and you can't actually play on it, but just having that around, reminiscent of that time. My son he saved up his money to buy a Pokemon or buy a Game Boy so he could play Pokemon. And that was his very first device that he had, and he really remembers that so much. And toy manufacturers are really introducing classic brands again and these play patterns. A second influence on the toy market has been licensing entertainment. Typically, that's about 30 to 35% of all toys are associated with a licensed property. It's getting more and more so because it's not just the kids market, but also the adult market and the kidult market. So the strong alliances that pollinate brand loyalties, these are things where they're companies that have a similar target market. Barbie and Play-Doh, they have the same age group. They like making things together. So Hasbro suggested to Mattel, why don't we do Play-Doh costumes for Barbie, where you can make your own Barbie costumes? And why not? When I used to work at Mattel, there was no way we would ever work with Hasbro because they were the main competitor. But now people are looking at how do we work together and make things happen, because we've got a fragmented market out there. So why don't we're going after the same target market, let's do it together. Masters of the Universe was with Thundercats, which were both around 40 years ago, celebrating their 40th anniversaries. And I was just over at Mattel this morning looking at the trailer for the new Masters of the Universe movie that's coming out this summer. Simba Dickey picked up Jada Toys a few years ago, so they added more classic car culture, different brands and licenses that Jada had that Simba Dickey didn't have, or some that were complementary. They just announced this week that they bought Sunny Days Entertainment, which has a lot of different brands like Hello Kitty and some Disney brands that maybe they didn't have those categories for. So now they're being able to do that. Teddy bears and liquid death. They're both about death, so it made sense. Why not put it together? MG Entertainment with Bluey, Playmates Toys and Winx, and even Barbie got together and made a signature LeBron James Ken Bassett doll. And it's actually taller than most Ken dolls because he's a tall guy. Now, the impact of licensing. These happen to be some of the ones that are more toyetic. Toy Story 5 is coming out in a few months. You've got Masters of the Universe is coming out in June, a new Supergirl movie, a new Spider-Man movie, Mandalorian and Grogu, which is Star Wars related. The Avengers Doom is coming out later this year. Here it says it's coming out in May on the poster, but it's actually coming out probably closer to December. And there's a new Mario, Super Mario movie coming out. These are just 7 of about 24 movies that are coming out in the theaters this year, both to kids' movies. These just are a smattering of them, and then a lot of them that, Hunger Games and Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia. It's the 25th anniversary of Harry Potter. So there's a lot of things that are going on also in entertainment, in the retail area as well as at the theaters, and then, of course, the toys and the merchandising that support these movies. Now we're going to look at the 3 trends of the fair. Kidults has been a trend that we've been following over the last few years, and we also have an area over in Midda, which shows some of those products. And our new trends are AI loves to play, and we're looking at toys that actually have integrated AI, not just smart toys that have a chip in them and maybe random, but these actually, I tried to pull examples that actually use AI in general. And then creative mindfulness is a counter trend to AI and technology toys. It's more about getting in the zen and the flow of having hobbies and that whole new nostalgia thing where you want to get away from technologies and just kind of do things that make you happy. So I was talking about our trend committee, and a number of them couldn't make it from Dubai and South Korea and different places because of the storms. So I'm glad all of you made it here. But we have a team of 12 people who give their opinions in, and they talk about what they're seeing as trends in their marketplaces. And then we confer and figure out which are the ones that have the most overlap, that are in different areas of the world, that we can then use examples to help you as retailers or consumers or trade guests or the press to determine what are some of these trends and what you're going to be seeing at retail. So I'm appreciative for my team that came up with these ideas, and I just get to be the one who gets to share these trends with you. So Toys for Kidults, we've been talking about that for a couple years, so I'm not going to show you any product from that because there's a lot of product over in Hall Midda. But I am going to give you some ideas about how it's continuing as a strong focus. These are toy enthusiasts that are adults, or they're 12 and up. And so, how many of you buy toys for yourself? Come on, admit it. Some of you do, I know. Or you're buying it for other people who are, really into a particular brand or a trend or a movie or anime. And so there's 3 different categories that are featured in the Kidult area. There's collectibles, creative fantasy play, and tabletop games. There's, of course, many other things like role play, and costumes and action figures. There's a lot of different things that are available out there. It's 210 square meters of product that are out there, and the 2 people who put it together is Ultra Comics, who actually have their biggest store here in Nuremberg. So if you have a chance to go see their store, it's 3 stories high, and everything in it is collectibles. They helped to curate this kidult area this year. And then Spiel Essen also helped to build the games, or put in the games that are being played by people. And Spiel Essen is a trade show for consumers. It's not a trade show, it's a consumer convention where people to get together and play new games. And if you play a game and you like it, you can actually buy it right there at the convention. People bring their kids, they bring their families, they meet up with their friends, and they just play for days on end. The potential is increasing at retail, and these numbers are pretty stupendous. Circana put together some research, and if you go there, you can scan the QR code and get more information on that. But in the USA alone, $13.4 billion was spent on toys for recipients of ages 12 and up. So that's what we consider kidult. That was an increase of 12% over 2024 and represented 32% of the entire toy market in the US. Now, in Europe, we're seeing a similar thing. The top 5 markets, Germany, UK, Italy, Spain, and France, they were measuring those markets, and it was 5.7 billion euros last year was spent on the same age group, 12 and up, and it was an increase of 14% over 2024 and representing 32% of the total toy market in these countries. And in 2024, Brand Trends, one of our trend committee members from Dubai, Philippe Guinaudot, he couldn't make it here today, but he did a study that was looking at 18 to 65-year-olds, and he asked them the question, would you be buying toys for yourself? And 67% said that they would be buying at least 2 toys for themselves in the coming year. That was their plan. And if you're interested in learning more about the kidult market or how to tap into that market, there's a variety of Toy Business Forum speeches on the kidult market that you can listen to during the course of the week. Now let's look at AI Loves to Play. Now I have a couple of slides that have words on them, but after that, everything else is pictures. So OpenAI, there's a lot of new alliances with OpenAI as well. Disney just signed a landmark agreement with OpenAI. It's a 3-year licensing deal that allows fans to go in and generate short AI videos using over 200 of their favorite properties and licenses. So Toy Story, the Disney princesses, Star Wars, all of the different things that they, Pixar movies. Mattel and OpenAI made an agreement last June, and they've been working on some product. They haven't revealed anything yet, but probably within the next month or so. I was just at their booth this morning saying, come on, guys, give me something. But they haven't given me any information yet, but very soon they're going to be launching some things with Barbie, Hot Wheels, Fisher-Price. Those are 3 of the brands in particular they've talked about. Hasbro also has plans to reveal some within the next month. Whether or not they're going to be revealing some here at the show, I'm not sure, but over the next month. And when I was at LEGO this morning, they talked about their smart play, and they now have a smart brick that lights up and it activates different things within the different play patterns. They have over 14 sets, I think, this year. Some are Star Wars sets. They have 5 new sets that are coming out. And it's all going to launch in March of 2026. So you'll be able to see that. And that's just the beginning. These are just some of the major companies. I mean, LEGO is the largest toy company in the world overall. And Mattel and Hasbro have a variety of properties. So that's why I mentioned that. AI toys can listen, understand, and adapt to the individual needs of the users of these different toys. And please, you can take pictures if you want. You don't have to take a bunch of notes, because this is going to be streaming. It's going to be on the Spielwarenmesse site. They'll download it within a couple weeks, and it'll be up all year, so you can go back and listen again and see these same slides again. Whether it's talking pets, interactive robots, companions, educational toys. I have examples of all of these that I can share with you. AI can make technology a playful experience, both for children, for adults, and even for seniors. There's products that are developed especially for seniors. And many AI toys don't need a screen. They don't need a camera. and they create real personal moments for kids and magic for kids. And the toys that I've selected are using the kid-safe technology, because many parents are concerned, well, is somebody going to be listening in on my kid with these AI toys? They have closed-ended systems where the parents can go in and control where it's being used and who's looking at it. So now it's the right trend, AI in particular, because last year I couldn't find a lot of toys that had real AI in them, but this year I was able to find a lot more with the help of my trend committee members as well. So they're toys with integrated artificial intelligence, interactive robots, smart educational toys that grow with a child or are being used in the schools as well. They adapt individually to a child thanks to their screen-free AI toys, and some of them teach and promote how to use AI safely. Kids, teenagers, and families need to know this. So here's some examples of preschool toys that use interactive intelligence. Poe is an AI personalized storytelling friend. So the more storytelling, it's from Italy, and the more storytelling that it goes and reads to your children or tells stories to your children, if the child likes it, and they like a particular theme of toy, the Poe will remember that, and they'll do more of those types of stories that the child tended to enjoy. Caratina is also from Italy, and it listens to the questions that children ask, it answers their questions for them, and it also is able to intelligently be able to answer questions for a child. The Fisher-Price Think and Learn Robo. This is the newer version of the Caterpillar that they used to have. This one, the children can turn a dial, and it can either go forward, it can go backwards, it can add sound or music, and the children can code it just by playing with the dials on the actual Caterpillar itself. So this is the second version of this product that's out there, and it's for children from 3 to 6, so the youngest children can use it. This audio gaming console, the children move the pieces around on it, and it's interactive learning, so they don't need a screen. They just play with these pieces and the dials on the actual interactive learning console, and it's for children 4 and up. And then Tutori is also a German company that uses AI numbers learning. So as a child graduates learning different numbers and how to compute, then it gives them more challenges. But it never challenges them beyond where they can do it, because it doesn't want the child to be frustrated, but it gives them an opportunity to grow with the child. Interactive companions, there's many of them out there. These just happen to be a few of them. Ozobot has their Evo and their RE versions. And these are iterations. They've been out there for over 10 years already. And these are about the size of a golf ball. And it has little feet, and you draw on a path with markers. You make a path of your own doing. And depending on the colors that you're using, it goes forward, backwards, restarts, stops. And children are using this in school. And the new RE method actually has a face on it now. So it's interactive, and it becomes more kind of like emotion. You can have emotions with this particular one. And these are being used in the schools as well. On the bottom is the Miko 3 AI robot for kids 5 and up. So kids can use it as asking questions. What's the weather going to be like today? Or, hey, have you ever, can you teach me how to do this? Or just having a conversation with a robot. And these, once again, are kid safe, and they're made to make sure that they're, if there's questions that are inappropriate for a child to ask, they say, well, you may want to ask someone else, this question. I can't answer that, but I can answer something else for you. Or let's tell a story, or let's do something else. And the Cosmo Digital Dream Labs, it used to be out a few years ago, and it's back. It came back again, and it's a very quirky little character. It has emotional facial expressions. It gets angry. If you don't talk to it, it gets kind of quirky and it's kind of snarky. But it's for 10 and up, and even adults like to have this little guy around because he's kind of fun to play with. And you can even buy this book, this Create with Cosmo, and it gives you, I think it's a 100-page book that gives you all kinds of different ways that you can program it to make it even more interactive. Interactive pet companions. So here at the fair, we have RoPet. And this is a new pet. It's a furry little character with very big eyes. And you can program it, and it becomes emotional. You can change the colors of the eyes. You can add accessories to it. You can use your app to change things up, to talk to it, to talk to other people who have pets, and there's communities out there. On the bottom, you see that they dressed it up like an artist, and so there's different ways of playing with this RoPet. Sony's Aibo robotic puppy was out 25 years ago, was when it was first introduced. And this one was, I mean, it's over $3,100 if you want to buy it. And now they only sell it on their own website because people have tried to knock this off and do things. So they're recommending, if you really want to buy this Aibo dog that does so many different things, to buy it through theirs. And it comes with different accessories and things. But you don't have to spend $3,100 to get a robotic pet. Luna is an intelligent pet bot. And what's interesting with the AI with this pet is it actually has facial recognition. It has voice recognition. So if there's different people in the household, it will answer differently to the child who's asking questions than to the adult who's posing a question, because it recognizes your voice and the kind of questions that you're asking and the kind of skill level or intelligence level you have to be able to answer those questions. It even has its own docking station. So when it gets tired, just like you have your robo vacuum at home, this little guy goes and he takes a nap. And then on the very bottom of the screen, Mothman is made for seniors and for people who want to spend $500 on an interactive pet companion that's plush. This one's kind of like a hamster, but it's very interactive, and it makes little noises, and its eyes, and you can pet it, and it responds differently to you. And it's being used in Japan a lot. It's made by Casio, so this is a company that knows how to make technology products. There's teach and promote learning about AI. So this one, there's a camera, My First 50, or My First Camera 50 is over in Hall 4. It uses AI support and safe storage tools so children can do video journaling if they want to. They can save their pictures. Their parents can help them set it up, and it's a closed system that they can use. The Kinder GPT is a new platform that's an AI chat for kids. And Germany has made sure it's very robust, it's very safe, but it's a way that children can go and ask a lot of different questions that they want to get answers to. I'm just going to get a sip of water here. And then 2 different companies in Germany have introduced books about AI and you. One is for children 11 and up, and it's a nonfiction book with a lot of experiments in it where kids can actually go and experiment with different simple AI technologies and learn how to use it. The other one by Ravensburger is teaching AI literacy and how to use it safely and appropriately, and it uses experiments and QR codes so kids can try out different things. Robots in STEM education continues to grow. A lot of these companies started with like Ozobot, and some of these companies started out at, selling it at retail, but ended up that it was more important for them to sell to the school marketplace, where people can buy, teachers can buy 12 to 15 of these and then have children do team exercises together with them. The Royby robot is for children 3 and up. It's a multilingual AI learning program. There's 70 different languages that a child can learn, and it progresses with them as they get better at learning the language. So you can teach your kids to learn a language, or 2 or 3 at a younger age. The Zivco robot on the bottom is made by Elenco. It's very simple AI. It's follow me, it's explore. So there's different technologies, but a very simplified version. So this one is only $60 compared to some of these others that are more expensive. The one in the middle, Dash, by WonderPack, by Wonder Workshop, used to just sell the little robot, and it taught kids how to code and how to follow paths and things. But then they came up with all these different accessories where you could teach it how to color. You could learn to code, and it'll do different things, play music. So now you can buy this whole set. And this was one of the very first companies that came out with these robots. And they went on Kickstarter, and they were asking for $25,000, to get them started with this program. Within a month, they had $1.5 million worth pledged because people saw that this was something that they thought their kids would really learn from. And then they started selling in the schools too, and they sell both at retail and in the schools. Mindstorms Robotics, they've been around for over 20 years now, but this Mindstorms robot inventor teaches kids 10 and up. You can teach them at home, or you can do it in the schools, classrooms, they use it. You can build 5 different robots. There's, hundreds of pieces that you can use, and instruction manuals on how to do these things. And a lot of parents who are Lego fans want to do this with their kids. Sports and gaming. There's actually different products out there also. There's a Soccer Dash program made it's a soccer ball, and there's different pieces that you lay out so your child can, or adults, there's actually pro athletes that are using this to improve their skills. And it uses AI-powered training technology to teach them how to improve their skills with kicking and et cetera. Pixicade Instant Mobile Game Maker teaches kids using different colors of pens how to use a 2D drawing and make it into 3D mobile games that actually come to life. And they use fulcrums and science and ways to make a video game come to life. And then in a shared system that the parents control, they can send it to their grandma or their best friend or their cousin in another country or another city, and they can play together the games that they created. Carrera has a Hyperdrive Fury race set that uses AI-supported vehicles, and it's app-controlled. There's even chess games where they have beginner level all the way up to Grandmaster Chess. And they're also part of chess.com and different organizations where you can play with someone across the world if they have the same set. Creative mindfulness. Now, this one's really fun. When I was a kid, I used to do a lot of crafts and creativity, and besides going out and climbing trees and being out in nature. But it stands for crafting with an emphasis on really taking a personal approach to something that's a hobby that you love. Children and adults are both inspired by this, and I have examples of that. There's different ones. They inspire self-confidence, concentration, the joy of making something, creating something on your own, and it coming out and being a beautiful product, and maybe you're learning a skill or a lifelong skill. It creates a sense of balance and well-being, to be in the flow of doing something, and creating for the joy of self-expression as well. It's a craft if it takes this personal break from everyday life, so it's a way to break free from being around digital things. So once again, it's that counter to being in a digital world. Children and adults are both inspired by it. There's creative projects for all different ages. So let's look at some of the examples. Creativity with wood and cork. Ukraine has introduced a model building set using the Star Wars license for the R2-D2. So not only do you build this wooden model, but inside of it there's a robot. There's a projector, so you can project on the wall your favorite characters. So it's using, once you build it, you can actually play with it in a new way. Corco, which is a company in Portugal, develops cork building blocks. And when you play with them, and the set falls down, it's quiet. But also while you're building it, it's quiet. So it builds that quiet play that parents sometimes like their children to just have time to concentrate on something like that. Hogwarts, Harry Potter is celebrating 25th anniversary this year. There's a Hogwarts Express wooden train building set by Pure Minds USA. And this is just one of many brands that they're actually reaching out to and doing these wooden models. And then once again, wooden balancing sets where they're different shapes that you build them so that you have to figure out kind of Zen how you put the puzzle together to make it stay. I'm sorry, I was talking about the slide before it moved forward. So these are the pictures of the creativity with wood and cork. Jet lag brain. You guys know what that's like, right? So the next one is soft toys, sewing, crocheting, weaving, felting, teaching children skills that they can use in the future. Now, the woman from Italy is here that introduced the Cuci Cuci product. It's a sewing kit that you can use a sewing machine. You get the actual product, like the pattern on how to make an alpaca, for example. This one is Alpaca Anton. So you build it, you create it, you cut it out, you put the stuffing in it, and then you finish sewing it off, but you've made it yourself. Or you can use a sewing machine and learn a new skill that way. She was one of the companies today that was in the toy pitch this morning. There were 16 different companies that were pitching their products to the media and to the retailers that were in the audience. Crochet Calm. Crocheting is something that you can do anywhere. And this one is using a popular character, a capybara, and this one is from China. In France, you can build a rug, you can learn how to weave and do a rug, or this German company is teaching children how to felt and how to make felt art. So all soft, tactile kind of things. On the construction side, construction creativity is what I'm calling it. Lego has had their botanicals brand, which has been very popular for them. And this year they introduced the Tulip Garden, and it has 5 different tulips in different stages of bloom. The Kinetics, which is over in Hall 4, there's something just wonderful about building these translucent sets that are magnetic tiles that click together. And if you do them by a window and you have the sunlight coming in, it's just a wonderful activity that young and old, children as young as 3 can do this, but, older children can too. And now they've actually added a light box. So this year they have a light star. So they have a brick that you can actually add light to your translucent patterns. The Beneki Kitten is also by Ukraine. And once again, it's a wooden puzzle that you build in 3-dimensional form. And it's made of environmentally friendly materials. Pottery and clay art. A company from Ukraine, once again, is Octo Lettering. So they teach you how to use the clay to make a beautiful piece of art, like a painting in clay, and it's air dry clay. There's a professional studio by the company in France, Buki, and you can actually learn how to throw your own cups and pots and different things and create it, and it's just that tactile feeling of doing that. And then there's a fun company, Hey Clay, that has this aliens kit. They came out with it last year. I remembered playing with it over on their stand in Hall 4. And they make these wonderful pets and fun little things. So boys and girls both are playing with clay in a fun way. And you can go online and it teach you how to make these different pets so that they look like the ones that were on the package if you want to do that. There's drawing, painting, diamond painting. The velvet coloring canvas reminds me of from when I was a kid and we had velvet posters. But this one is mindful yoga. So you're actually taking a mandala, you're coloring it in, and creating this wonderful piece of art that you can put on your wall. The painting set by Simba Dickey is a French market, a floral market of flowers. The professional studio artist is learning to paint with acrylic paints and how that different texture and the way that you use your brush and you put it on the canvas, it's a different technique than watercolors or other kinds of paints. And the Dazzle Pals Snoopy, this whole Diamond Art Club, it's a new form of creating 3D art, but you're using like little rhinestones, and you put glue on them. You put them on this little, like this is a Snoopy, and today she was here in the toy pitch, and she was sharing that they now have Barbie little houses that you can make that use multicultural dolls that you can use with it. And it's a colorful play pattern for children as well as, for adults. So this has really taken off, and it's a new form of kind of painting in 3D. Some other unique options that I found going through this and going through what my teams from the Trend Committee have come up with. This leather for kids. He came up to me after last year's emerging trends, and he said, I'm creating artwork for kids using leather. I'm from Pakistan. We, produce a lot of beef from around the world, but we want to reuse and recycle and be environmentally correct in using the skins of the animals. And so he's creating these kits for kids, and he's working with toy partners here to hopefully bring it out. He's already sold over, I think, a couple thousand kits, and has gotten recognition and award programs in Italy, and he does things for the Italian market, where there's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and there's different things that he's creating. He did one for England, and it was the Tower of London. And he's just a very creative, fun, forward-thinking guy. He's a fourth generation leather professional entrepreneur. It's been in his family for 4 generations. The Wonder Kit's origami paper folding kit from Korea. I used to like making things out of origami when I was a kid, and I know that my nieces and nephews, they like doing it too. And it's a fun little skill that you can share with people, whether on an airplane or, just you can make animals, you can make flowers. There's so many different things you can do. From Poland, Ula shared this one with me. The Tubon company actually makes bubble products, but they've come up with a bug product that's like a soft jelly type material that you can make insects, and boys and girls both like it, and then the instruction kit talks about insects, and you get to learn about bugs. And then this creative kit by Penguin Random House in Germany is teaching kids how to carve using carving tools. And you can carve wood, you can carve metal, you can carve into rocks. My niece does it. She's 13, and she makes things and she sells them at when they go to the country